I want to kick us off just briefly with the Pretoria news, which is reflecting on what happened at COSATU's national conference yesterday with the booing off stage of the ANC chairperson, Gwede Mantashe, yesterday. But actually, I want to go to the Cape Argus this morning, and it's a story that we reflected on even yesterday. That shark attack that took place on Sunday morning at Plettenberg Bay, tributes pouring in for someone described as an angel lost to a shark attack. This is Kimon Kiki Bisono. This is the 39-year-old local humanitarian and co-founder of Ob's Pasta Kitchen, a restaurant that she ran with her husband and her business partner. But more than that, it's such a wonderful article because she's done such incredible work in her community over the past years. Besides feeding the homeless, I'm just reading from the article, through her pasta kitchen every Wednesday evening, Bisono also ran a wellness program every Wednesday morning for the community, the homeless, and all those in need of meditation and life skills. Over the past few months, she was working closely with the Development Action Group to provide support to Rainbow House. That's a transitional home in Observatory in Cape Town, which seeks to provide a safe space for 25 previously homeless individuals to get back on their feet. The article also quotes Carlos Mosquito, who is a former homeless man, also founder of Our House and Rainbow House, who says Kimon exemplifies the good fight for the homeless in Observatory. Kimon, we have lost your presence on earth, but heaven has gained an angel. And I mean, you touched on this yesterday, Tumisang, the fact that she was attempting to swim from Beacon Island Resort to Central Beach early on Sunday morning. And her husband and a 2-year-old daughter, they were watching while she was doing that swim and watching when she was attacked by the shark.
My goodness.
Just heartbreaking story.
Tragic story. Really sad what's taken place, especially now that we know who this person was and the kind of contribution she was making in the community where she worked. We'll watch that story for you, get you a sense of perhaps what other tributes entail. But the front page of the Daily News today, yesterday I started off by saying that 24 hours is an incredibly long time in politics. I'm going to repeat that. So I don't know how we missed it, but apparently there is a branch in Everton, in Citibank, that's nominated, guess who? The former president, Jacob Zuma, to go against the incumbent, Cyril Ramaphosa, in the ANC December conference. The article today is speaking about how this particular nomination is likely to cause a frenzy within the ANC itself, and I guess we could go on about why that may be. It's interesting to see how the former president himself will respond. Does he have enough of the constituency? But more importantly, does he have the energy to, I guess, go against a Cyril Ramaphosa? Given, let's face it, the time that's lapsed, perhaps the other issues he might be distracted by, including his corruption trial, and many other, developments around this factionalism within the ANC that many people will admit is definitely playing out in quite a spectacular way. I just thought it's interesting to highlight. Of course, we'll see a lot of these kind of developments in the lead up to December, and hopefully the picture will be much clearer closer to the time of the particular conference.
I was going to say interesting, but not unexpected.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect a branch in Citibank. I'll say that much. In fact, we know the Daily News to be a regional paper in KwaZulu-Natal. But yeah, I found that to be very interesting indeed. In fact, don't get me wrong, I mean, even this nomination itself was contentious because there's concerns around the legitimacy of this branch meeting itself. People saying it didn't have enough people who attended. Those who are present, though, are defending that. They say it did meet all the requirements and these were finalized before the sitting itself. According to this article, the requirements include minutes and an attendance register of the branch executive, together with a meeting invitation to members of the branch and their attendance register. There you have it. Who knew? So anyway, as you mentioned, we're likely to see a whole lot more of these kind of things, and many people will say it wasn't unexpected.
They call it silly season.
There you go. And you and I have to somehow make sense of it all. Tumisang, what are we making sense of in business?
Before we dive into the business day, I must say it's interesting because just yesterday you and Michelle talking about politics and Musi Maimane, you were talking about popularity. And that's where Jay-Z comes in.
And personality.
Exactly. But in the business day, unfortunately, the OECD, which is the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, they've forecast South Africa's growth back down to 1.7%, and that's because of load shedding and the impact that's likely to have on the South African economy. Just a few days ago, we saw the Reserve Bank basically saying that it expects the economy to grow at 1.9%. It's just a notch down from the 2.0% expected in terms of economic growth for this year, but not too far off in terms of forecasts and calling where the South African economy is likely to end up by the end of this year. If load shedding continues, though, unfortunately, it's unlikely that it's going to go up it's going to continue to go down in terms of economic growth forecasts.
Obviously, right?
I mean...
A far cry from the kind of growth we need in this country still. I mean, we haven't even started... Is anybody still hoping for a double-digit growth at this stage?
I know you're not asking me.
Because, I mean... Yeah, anyway. Given the many challenges we face, one wonders whether or not this will be enough. Tumisang, thanks very much indeed. Those are your front pages. Benji with us, as always, for a sense of what's happening in sports. Good morning.
Good morning. Let's take a look at the BBC this morning, and they are reflecting on Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua. So disappointment for boxing fans. They were looking forward to a heavyweight title bout between Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua on the 3rd of December. Now, Fury, the title holder, now says it's off. I'm cancelling it because he'd given the deadline of yesterday for Joshua to sign the contract. But Joshua says, look, son, I will sign the contract. It's with my lawyers and everything. So he is saying, I'm not having it. You are playing. I'm not going to be fighting with you. So it's a bit of a problem for Joshua in his career because he seems like he's out in the cold now and nobody wants to give him that title shot. He lost 3 titles to Alexander Usyk last year, and there was a rematch this year, lost it again. But here's my feeling, my money is on a PR stunt. I think Fury is just, stunting. No, it's cancelled and everything to create that hype, hype, anticipation. I think it will get signed and the fight will happen on the 3rd of December. It would probably be the fight of the year should it happen. So disappointment for now for boxing fans, but I would not rule it out just yet. Like I said, my money is on that. He's just pulling one of those. Boxers do that quite often, actually. Ahead of big fights.
Sure. So you don't reckon he's getting cold feet and is using this contract as some kind of a stake?
No, not Fury.
Okay.
Not Fury. Fury would take
the name says it all.
Anyway.
Yeah, I was about to say, what a surname to be in boxing. My goodness. All right, Benjamin Leshoro, thanks very much indeed. Back